Section 9 of Nuggets of the New Thought by William Walker Atkinson. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. The Kindergarten of God. Life a great school. Man, a child learning his lesson, preparing for higher grades, the game task, what it all means, things as they are, the rules wise and good, each task means something, greeting the kindergartner. I see life as a great school, man as a tiny child, learning his little lessons, performing his little tasks, playing his little games, enjoying his little pleasures, suffering his little pains, disappointments, trials, and sorrows. I feel that we are in but the kindergarten stage of existence, learning the first lessons of life, fitting ourselves for the grander, broader, fuller life in store for us. And I feel that this little kindergarten experience will continue until we have learned its lessons well, have firmly grasped the principles designed for our baby minds. And I feel that when we have proven our ability to weave our little mats, build our little blocks, draw our little pictures, mold our little clay forms, sing our little songs, then, and not until then, will we pass into a higher grade where we will spell out the lines of the primer of life and acquire the elementary principles of cosmic mathematics. And I feel that each little lesson must be learned thoroughly before the next step is taken. And I feel that every one of us must perform his own task, must memorize his own lesson, before he can gain the experience, can profit by the knowledge acquired in the performance of the task. We may be inspired by some brighter pupil, be encouraged by the loving sympathy of some fellow scholar, but the task is ours to perform, sooner or later, and ours is the joy of accomplishment. I believe that as some children, even whilst fascinated by the game task of the kindergarten, know that it is only a childish task, and not the real thing of life, so may we come to a point where, whilst enjoying the constantly changing play of life, we will realize that it is but the training for greater things, and important only in that sense. The perception of this fact by the child need not interfere with his interest in the game, need not prevent him from feeling the joy of doing, creating, working, gaining new experiences, nor need it prevent us from playing the kindergarten games of grown-up life with a zest and interest, not alone because we realize that we are learning valuable lessons, but, yea, even from the very excitement and joy of the game itself. When we realize just what this view of life means, we will find new pleasures in everyday life. We'll learn to laugh with the childish glee at our little successes in molding the clay into the desired shape, in the clever weaving of the mat. And we will learn to smile, through our tears, if our little mat happens to tear in two, if our little clay sphere drops to the floor and is shattered, if the hour's work is destroyed. And we will learn our little lesson of love, of comradeship. We will learn by experience that if we lead the narrow, selfish life, we will miss the joy that falls to the lot of those who have learned to express more fully the love nature within them. We will find that love begets love, that the love nature expressed attracts to itself the love in the hearts of our little playmates. We will find that the child who carries within him the love for others and expresses that love need never want for friends or companions, need never suffer from loneliness, need never fear being left out in the cold. The true personal magnetism of the child and the grown-up consists largely of love, which never fails in its drawing power, and we will learn from bitter experience the folly of the idea of separateness from our little playmates. We'll know that the standing apart brings nothing but sorrow to us. We will realize that selfishness brings nothing but pain, that giving has its pleasures as well as receiving, and we will learn something of brotherhood and its goodness. We will have the true democracy of the kindergarten impressed upon us. These lessons and others we will learn well before passing on. We, like the child, often wonder what is the use of it all, fret over our enforced tasks, chafe at the confinement, rage at the restrictions, and failing to comprehend it all, indulge in complaints, protests, rebellion. And like the child, we cannot expect to understand the wineness of it all, certainly not until we pass beyond the kindergarten stage of existence and reach the higher grades. When one begins to realize what he is, begins to be conscious of the I am, begins to know things as they are, he gradually learns to appreciate things at their true worth, and although not released from the necessity of playing out his kindergarten game tasks, is able to, practically, stand aside and watch himself play them out. He knows that he is gaining knowledge, is mastering his lessons, is living out and outliving his desires, is acquiring and storing up new experiences, but he values things only at their final worth and is not deceived by the apparent value of the moment. He begins to see things in their proper relations. He does not take himself or things too seriously. He enjoys the pleasure of the game, but he knows it to be but the play and pleasure of the child. He laughs, but is not deceived. He suffers also the sorrow, grief, disappointment, humiliation, and chagrin of the child nature, but even though the tears are falling, he, knowing, smiles. He laughs with joy, with pain he cries, but he knows, he knows. He enjoys the playthings, gifts, rewards, but he knows them for what they are, he knows. He plays the games with the children who do not know, and well he plays, but he knows. His disillusionment spoils not the sport. He plays on, for play he must, knowing, but enjoying. Yes, enjoying, because of the knowing. He knows that the child things are good, but he sees them as but shadows of the good to come. He knows that he cannot escape from his own good, and he knows that the good is also in store for his playmates, though they know it not, and being full of love, he rejoices. He feels that the rules of the school are wise and good, and that though he cannot see it clearly now, infinite justice rules all, and will in the end appear. He knows that promotion will be gained just as soon as earned. He knows that just as soon as he is able to master a task, that task will be set before him, not a moment before. And he knows that no task will be allotted him even one moment before the possibility of its accomplishment. He knows that he is being tested, trained, and strengthened day by day, that every unpleasant and disagreeable task has an important end in view, and he knows that every task placed before him is in accordance with the law that takes cognizance of his powers, failings, capabilities, shortcomings, that understands him better than he does himself. He knows that the very allotment of the task is a guarantee of his ability to perform it. He knows that within him are latent powers, potential forces, hidden knowledge, which will well forth from his subconscious mentality when bidden by the confident expectation of intelligent faith. And knowing these things, he is filled with courage and presses forth eagerly to the tasks of the day. And knowing, he casts off all fear, worry, discouragement, and discontent, and with the smile of love on his face and the joy of faith in his heart, he greets the kindergartner with confidence and trust. End of section 9.